inconsistent, consistent, complex. Spoilers for episodes 1, Romance Dawn, and up to The Man in the Straw Hat of Netflix's adaptation of One Piece. Nami, by design it seems, is a confusing character. This is a bold choice for a writer. If you aren't as confident in your ability to write fiction as Luffy is about becoming king of the pirates, be warned. Complaints about inconsistency abound. Plot-driven writers have the temptation of making characters do things to stay true to the plot they envision. Character-driven writers have a temptation to make the plot do things so the characters can stay themselves. Considering how strong the characters are in One Piece, one might think One Piece is a character-centered story. But then, it's named for its plot. There's supposed to be this huge pirate treasure hidden somewhere in the Grand Line, an area like the equator of this fictional world. Many, many people are out to find it. The main character's defining trait is seeking this treasure to become king of the pirates. Is the plot there so we can have this great character, Luffy? Or is Luffy the main character because he so embodies the plot? We get a great story either way. In it are many great side plots and side characters, including Nami. Nami, unlike Luffy, does not seem to embody the One Piece plotline.
Figures. What? Every idiot dreams of finding the One Piece.
So a viewer might ask, if Nami really means these words, why does she want a map to the Grand Line? These lines of dialogue might seem like an inconsistency in her character compared to all we've seen Nami do to get the map. The first scene with Nami shows her still trying to get the map out of the safe. Here we see more consistencies and possible inconsistencies of character, which when looked at more carefully can be revealed as complexity. Nami got right to attempting to crack the safe in the first episode, seconds after discovering it. She is doing the exact same thing here. In Axan Morgan's office, she said she couldn't rush this. As we come back to her, we see it is night. She stands or crouches. Correct. Consistency! Luffy is also doing what he was doing in the last episode, trying to hurry her. As in the last episode, she still seems frustrated by this. I wonder why. Also, he's still asking her to join his crew.
Yet again to join your crew.
Consistency! But then, Nami goes a little too far.
Need some quiet and some space.
Yeah, she meant to do that. Then Luffy seems to show inconsistency.
Hey! It's not cool. Don't mess with my hat.
If you recall, last episode I said it's pretty hard to keep Luffy from smiling. Even right after he's been pushed up against a wall, had someone get in his face,
Hate pirates. Hate them.
and told him what he claims to be is hated by them, he comes out smiling. Right here, though, he's glaring. He gets serious. What happened to Luffy? Is this inconsistency or complexity? If you recall, Luffy is wearing this same straw hat here, and here, and here. In fact, he's wearing it pretty much every time we see him. When Nami, who might have targeted his hat, after noticing herself how consistently he wears it, asks why he cares about it so much.
It looks like you fished it out of the trash.
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
He gives her an answer. Soon after that, Nami gets the safe open and finds what she and Luffy have been looking for. Zoro, though, is disappointed.
There's supposed to be gold inside a safe.
Nami replies to Zoro's question and shows what she values.
This is more valuable than gold. It's knowledge.
So again, inconsistency or complexity. I mean, she's a thief and has talked about needing to eat and survive. She has been working towards getting this map since we met her. We've also seen her reading a map, and now...
This is more valuable than gold. It's knowledge.
Consistency! Nami shows off her second character defining trait by drawing an oversimplified map of their whole world, and drops a hint about why she might want to go to the Grand Line.
Flush with riches and ripe for the picking.
Consistency! But then, Nami passes out, Zoro passes out, Luffy looks at a Jolly Roger and passes out. They all wake up in a box, and each character makes an observation that reveals what they value.
They took my swords.
And my rucksack. Ugh, with all my navigation gear.
They didn't take my hat.
Luffy explains he saw a Jolly Roger, which means they've been captured by pirates.
I can talk to them. Pirate to pirate.
You are just some stretchy guy in a tattered hat.
I'm a different kind of...
Pirates are pirates. There's only one kind.
And she seems to be proven wrong. Or is she? One thing we can ask about Nami and the world building in general is, does she see the world as it is, making her a realist? Or is Nami a pessimist, believing this world to be worse than it really is? This would be a hard question to ask and answer about her character if the world she is in is inconsistent. We can look at it now, though, in regards to this episode, the last one, and her statement about pirates.
Pirates are pirates. There's only one kind.
Well, right away, these seem to be different pirates. These are circus-themed pirates. But theming itself seems to be a thing with other pirates. Alvida had a theme going of feminine but terrifying. So one could say she and this cruise captain, Buggy, are differently themed, but they are both themed. Also, Alvida seemed to have her crew and the civilians in her power cowed, and Buggy seems to have accomplished the same. Maybe Nami is clear-sighted about pirates in her world? Buggy continues to act threateningly as he tries to get the map to the Grand Line from them, like he said he'd do last episode. Consistency! Then Nami acts horribly, but also consistently, counting on Luffy to act consistently as well. Nami uses Luffy's hat against him to get away herself. This is a risky move for the writers. However, there is a quick and clever turnaround. She runs out, seemingly concentrated on saving herself at the expense of her not crew members. Then she sees a town of destroyed buildings. This stops her. I think this is important not only to show Nami does have empathy, but so the audience relates to her. They have just seen her do something they probably hated her for doing. Yet the audience here sees what Nami sees and probably feels what she feels. Shock, sadness, and rage. Pirates come up behind and tackle Nami before dragging her back inside the tent as she fights them. Once they have her back there with Buggy, Nami asks them the question the audience is probably asking.
What did you do to their town?
Does this seem like the Nami we've known so far? Shouldn't she be sucking up to and manipulating Buggy to successfully save herself, like she's done here, and even here? But Nami here has moist eyes, a fallen face, and a tremulous voice. She is yelling at the guy who seems so obviously in control of the situation and obviously scary. Is this inconsistency or complexity? Remember Nami's dark delivery of her view on pirates earlier? How unlike manipulation and even clever, quiet stealing, shoving Luffy up against a wall earlier was. This isn't entirely inconsistent. So, this seems to be complexity. Buggy gives Nami a darkly comedic response that shows just where his priorities are.
Not everything. I'll let them keep their hands.
And now we probably really relate to and feel for this crowd and Nami. Nami and Zoro are both taken someplace they'll be made uncomfortable, and Luffy is left with this sick clown character and the chained audience. But we're following Nami in this video. She is taken to a cage. Zoro is tied to a spinning board nearby. Nami tells him what she saw outside, showing she is still not over it. Zoro gives her zero sympathy and speaks for whatever part of the audience isn't buying Nami's turnaround or complexity. Nami fights back, saying he, Zoro, was picking a fight he couldn't win, which seems pretty true. After all, he didn't have his swords. Nami again says they need a plan, and he needs to trust her, so they can both get free. He at first responds with derision, but she points out he doesn't have other options. He pauses, seems to consider, and admits this before asking what they will do. No one seems to be guarding them, since this conversation hasn't been interrupted, and no one else has been in sight. This is kind of surprising, but it also makes Nami seem smarter as she responds.
Waiting to make sure we're alone.
She then pulls a lockpick out of her boot and begins to use it on the lock of her cage. Zoro asks her about it, and she says she actually had 4 lockpicks but the captors only found 3. This is a great example of something that is hard to do. How do you make your characters seem clever? One thing I've already pointed out is the writers of this script get dangerously close to making characters surrounding the clever character, Nami, dumb, namely Buggy's pirate crew. No one is guarding Nami and Zoro apparently, and this seems stupid. I mean, really. Nami already nearly escaped, and Zoro is a dreaded pirate hunter. However, the writers made a point to make these circus pirates seem less dumb. It's been established they have a really unreasonable captain whose primary focus, beyond finding the One Piece, is putting on a perfect performance he can star in. Guarding prisoners might not be what they are being asked to do right now. Instead, they may be helping their captain put on the perfect show that also makes Luffy reveal the hiding place of the Grand Line map. In addition, Nami has already said this to Zoro.
Ropes are too strong even for you.
While he was trying to get out on his own without depending on her. So yes, despite not guarding them, they did incapacitate Zoro. Also, they did, according to Nami herself, search her and find 3 lockpicks she had hidden on her. Can we really blame them for stopping at 3? Then, not a guard, but a tormentor comes in to talk to Zoro. Nami tells her, not a crew member, to keep him distracted. The tormentor's dialogue shows he is in emotional turmoil. This shows another trick of the fiction writing trade. If you need a character to do something dumb without wanting to portray them consistently dumb, make them super emotional as they do the dumb thing. It is part of the human experience that we do tend to act dumber when we're highly emotional. Zoro keeps his tormentor distracted by talking just enough to keep him focused on him, rather than watching Nami as she picks the lock of her cage behind her back. She gets out quietly, which may not be too unbelievable since she is a thief. She gets behind the pirate without him or us noticing. And we kind of expect her to have this powerful move after fighting Marines in the base in the first episode. Consistency! This was a dumb move on the pirate's part, throwing a knife so it partially tore through the ropes holding one of Zoro's wrists. But again, he was emotional. Maybe he was aiming at Zoro's wrist and missed, or maybe he was trying really hard to make Zoro flinch. Another trick of the writing trade is if you want your audience to not think too hard on something like this, make the result really emotionally satisfying. The audience will then care less if it makes sense. Nami helps cut Zoro free. This time, she won't leave him alone and run away. Is this inconsistency or complexity? Maybe she's grown more attached to Zoro? Or maybe she's remembering how she didn't make it far the last time. Consistency, since she is the planner. Zoro asks her now if she has a plan, saying what we should all now know about Nami, because this at least has been consistent. That's your thing. Plans?
We beat the hell out of every clown we see.
Zoro's reaction seems to indicate he likes his plan. Nami then also saves Luffy. Consistency?
They're not coming.
Seemingly, it's just Buggy they need to take out. But there is something Nami and Zoro don't know yet. Yeah, not looking good. So things, not gonna lie, go badly for a while. Then it's Luffy's turn to be smart.
Nami! The crates!
Nami, to her credit, gets the point from that line really quickly and does her part. Zoro works with her to get the job done, or at least done enough for Luffy to finish things. Then Luffy shows he still trusts Nami despite her unlikable betrayal earlier. Then it's Zoro's turn to want to get out as quickly as possible, though he makes sure he includes Luffy. But Luffy one-ups him on the good guy scale. They free the townspeople from their chains. The mayor asks Luffy,
You are new captors.
What?
Well, you're a pirate, aren't you?
I'm a different kind of pirate.
Nami gives Luffy a look at this. Remember?
Pirates are pirates. There's only one kind.
Is she rethinking her earlier statement? Is she beginning to believe Luffy now? So we see a plot twist come up in this episode, keeping our Nada crew together, including Nami. But do we really know Nami?
It's me. You can tell them I have the map.
Tune in next time to see the next roadblock keeping our Nada crew members together. If I was entertaining and informative this time, please like. And until my next time, lovely viewers, God bless.